everybody, welcome to the hashtag Hype Train podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Corey, reminding you that I am a 7-foot-tall ex-basketball pro star who is pro-Hindu, guru, drag queen, and alien.
All right, you got to give me something for that one. I got to put up some sort of image for that. What is that?
So, if no one caught that deep reference, that is how Jet Black describes Edwards in Cowboy Bebop.
Huh.
Well, in the manga.
Okay. That's a tough one. You're going to have me look up that. Okay. That's great.
Yeah, it's probably Ed, bro. He's a big mother, like maybe 7 feet tall. Used to play basketball, at least that's what everyone says.
Audrey, my girlfriend, told me all about Edward. He's a drag queen at one of those operations.
A super bad hacker. You must mean Radical Edward. He's an alien, that's what I heard.
It's just Edward. It's not Edwards.
Okay.
In the manga, they go by Radical Edwards.
Yeah, it's Radical Edward though.
No, it's not. Look it up.
Yeah, here's the thing. It was an anime before it was a manga. It's not like most anime.
Oh, take that, Corey.
Got him!
Oof!
I never get to say that. You always say that when Matt proves me wrong, or even when he doesn't. It's you just like saying it. So it was my turn.
Fun to say, as you just felt.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are a trailer review podcast. We're reviewing the latest and greatest TV show trailers, movie trailers, and video game trailers. Right now, we're doing another one of these. Well, I guess this is classic Hype Train here. We're just diving in. We each picked a different new and upcoming trailer to be hyped for. We'll dive right in, I guess. So with my trailer here, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are back as a team of part-time paranormal investigators. So let's check out Truth Seekers.
Gus Roberts, you are my #1 installer.
And who better to train up more Gus Robertses than Gus Roberts himself?
The last thing I need is some clueless millennial mouth breather cluttering up my van.
Elton, I really should have asked you to wait outside.
Hello, we're here to fix your broadband. You ever had a paranormal experience? This is my YouTube channel. Most Haunted Institute of the Criminally Insane.
I don't want anything to do with ghosts ever again.
How? I think I'm being chased by ghosts. I saw a smoldering ghost. Can you help me?
Something is not right. We need to find out what it is.
You're just scratching the surface. There's a bigger world out there.
You're in danger.
These aren't just restless spirits. These are malevolent entities.
Welcome, Truth Seekers.
What an old ham.
How long is this boring bastard gonna be waffling on?
Dad, everyone can hear you, know.
We're on the cusp of something. The Russians, the Chinese,
They're watching me.
There's a storm coming.
Talk about ghost spinning.
I'm not scared anymore.
It says, and the caster of the incantation, me, should take not more than 1 sip of tepid urine before the ritual begins.
All right, guys, that was Truth Seekers coming out on Amazon Prime on October 30th, as you saw at the end there. Show looks pretty cool. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, I mean, they're back together in this. The reason I have to bring up Edgar Wright is just because, as we were talking about the Cornetto trilogy, those movies, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and what's the other one, The End of the World, or whatever it is.
The World's End.
At World's End, yeah, the World's End. At World's End, Pirates of the Caribbean. But the World's End. Those three movies were very, they're pretty iconic, and in Edgar Wright's style.
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, sorry, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
And obviously Simon Pegg and Nick Frost brought another iconic thing to those movies.
I only child I can see the view more was he Mombo.
Right. What did he say?
Said edge is edge, huh? He only chopped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he longer?
What did he say?
He said an edge is an edge. He only chopped it down because it spoiled his view. What's Reaper moaning about?
Right. Look, I appreciate your position, Mr. Webley, but you can't go around chopping down other people's hedges without permission.
I
suppose.
Yes, I suppose. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
As the comedy duo in all those films. So having them come back together without Edgar Wright, I just feel like something's missing. That was like my main thing in my notes was like, you know, they're both great. They're both great actors. They're both very funny. I do like seeing them in different things. But maybe it'd be just cool if like Edgar Wright could just like direct an episode. You know, like what's he doing right now? I'm sure he's doing something amazing, but you know, I just want to see those three guys come back together and do something. It would be cool. But the director of this, Truth Seekers, is directing every single episode. His name is Jim Field Smith. The things he has directed that I looked into, his first film directorial debut was She's Out of My League with Jay Baruchel. I think that movie's
friend
really
of the show, Jay Baruchel.
yeah. I think that movie's really good. That is kind of one of my guilty pleasure movies.
Everybody, this is Molly. Molly's is everybody. That's my brother, Dylan, his fiance, Debbie, and my Barney and Ron.
Hey, everybody.
This is when you say hi, Molly.
Who are you?
She's Molly.
Why is she here?
She came with me.
Did you hit her car or something?
Jesus, no, but thank you for asking.
Are you a social worker?
Nope.
Oh, shit, are we being evicted?
No.
Are you a hooker?
Dylan.
Or a prostitute, I mean?
Oh, my God.
I don't have a lot on this, as they are paranormal investigators, but I guess they uncover some sort of apocalyptic conspiracy, which reminded me of Utopia when I saw it. So I'm like, oh, another conspiracy type show. So we got Truth Seekers, we got Utopia. Corey, what do you think?
I don't really get the feeling. Like, I know because it's not just Fernandez, it's not just us. Basically, Amazon has been pitching this as like, you want it and we gave it to you. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are back. But everything I've seen so far for Truth Seekers really makes this feel like it's more Nick Frost and Samson Kao, who is Elliot, who's the other person in the trailer for most of the part with Nick Frost. It really feels like it's more their buddy cop show, and Simon Pegg is just kind of there.
I feel like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are probably enemies in this show.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? Yeah.
So like I understand Fernandez's feeling of something's missing, and I think the missing part for me is like they're not buddies. That's like and granted, in Hot Fuzz and in The World's End, they're not just automatically best friends in either of those films. So like this could be one of those things where like at some point they become best friends in this show. But I don't know. With the exception of, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Fernandez is obviously going to say Utopia. With the exception of The Boys, I don't feel like Amazon Prime has had too many like really heavy hitters as far as their originals are going.
Well,
people really liked The Man in High Castle, like for the first season.
There's a lot. There's a lot of shows
that
that I don't watch that are very popular. Like the Tom Clancy one with
with old Jim Halpert.
Yeah, that one supposedly is really great. I've heard great things about that from other people. There's that. There's is Handmaid's Tale. Is that Hulu or is that?
Yeah, that's Hulu.
Okay, never mind. So I mean, it's hard too because there's so many streaming services that all these shows kind of run together on whatever they're on. But there's a lot. There's a lot on. I think Amazon has to offer that we just don't watch, and this is just our opinion on it. But that's what the show is. So whatever.
It could be like, and it's not it's not necessarily so much nowadays, but do you feel like, or do you remember, it kind of felt like back when we were younger that like CBS was always targeting more towards like 40 and older, and Fox was aiming at like 25 and younger, and then MTV was just like, please watch us, we're MTV.
Hi MTV, I'm a female in my mid-20s. These days, I noticed that you only seem to air reality shows with really horrible, vapid people, and I just wondered, why don't you play music videos anymore? Thanks, Natalie.
Dear Natalie, are you f***ing kidding me? Should we all preserve your precious sleepover moments spent watching promotional material from record labels in amber, like the mosquitoes in Jurassic Park? The answer is f*** you.
And like, it just feels like Amazon kind of is shifting to be that CBS like archetype where it's like, hey, you're old and we know stuff's scary, so why don't you come check out this stuff we got?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that, and just the fact that...
Do you think Truth Seekers, though, epitomizes that?
Well, that's the exception, is Truth Seekers.
Well, this is the Truth Seekers
and Utopia
segment.
to extent.
I don't know
But,
about
like,
older.
Jack Ryan.
But I feel like they're definitely going for a different audience than like Netflix. Like Netflix dropped another anime trailer that I was going to send you guys. Like Netflix is kind of the more experimental. I feel like Netflix to me is like, because I disagree with what you're talking about Fox, because to me Fox was, let's throw anything and everything against the wall and see what sticks. And I think that's what Netflix is doing. Just because they don't even keep shows. There's there was an article on some website about why Netflix shows get canceled or whatever so easily. So like that's why I think Netflix is throwing shit against the wall, seeing what sticks, and then rolling with that, which is what I think Fox did. Because like, who makes the joke? I think The Simpsons do a lot of the times or whatever. Like all those canceled Fox shows.
Can 15 strippers run their own airline? Find out tonight on Fox's newest reality hit, Landing Strip.
Ladies, check out what I can do with the oxygen masks.
What a great show. Real people with real problems.
Yeah.
Simpsons
there's like
a
for a
million
long time was notorious for referencing
I
shows
think-
that Fox had canceled.
I think the best reference to it, though, is not a Simpsons reference. It's actually, ironically, an American Dad reference, which, got canceled from Fox and got Yes, but it's Roger's upset for some reason, and they give him a stress ball, and it's a Sons of Tucson stress ball, and he's like, watch Sons of Tucson this autumn on Fox. What is this?
I
watched Fox. I never saw this.
I need this now more than ever for its intended purpose. Sons of Tucson, new on Fox. When was this on? I watched Fox. I never saw this.
I wanted Sons of Tucson to do well because of what's his name, Corey from Reaper.
Yeah, Tyler Labine, close personal friend of our show.
Yeah, that's the only reason I wanted Sons of Tucson to do good. It was not that good, but I love the Tyler Labine. But
that's my 2 cents. So Sanford.
Yeah, well, so the film you're looking for is Paul Fernandez. That's Simon Pegg and Nick Frost without Edgar Wright, which you didn't mention. Yeah.
I chose not to mention Paul.
The only thing to mention about Truth Seekers that you guys haven't covered is I came across an interesting thing Simon Pegg said about sort of like the idea behind the show. He said to make good horror comedy, the horror needs to be frightening and the comedy comes from everything else. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Because they kind of did that with Shaun of the Dead. I mean, they kind of make fun of the zombies, but the zombies still like horrifyingly disembowel everybody, So it looks like this show is going that route. So like it could be actually kind of spooky, in the parts of the show that aren't just Malcolm McDowell, who we haven't talked about, but he's here.
Yeah, he's great.
Like
I should have said something.
He's like,
you talking about Linderman?
Yeah, he's like, I hate modernity. We can still hear you, Dad, says Nick Frost. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. Is that it's not supposed to be a scary show, but to make the show convincing, they really want the horror elements to be legit. And so that's could be good. I don't know.
Yeah. everything what we said was kind of like, yeah, all right, could be okay, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
So jury's out on that one. Well, in fact, let's do our thing then. I forgot that this was a regular
There
episode.
it
Let's
is.
boom or bust it. Who's got
There
the
it
theme
is.
song?
All right, here we go. Boom, bust. You gotta be aware if you're riding train or throwing out there. Who knows whether we gonna like the show? Let's take it over to Mike for the go.
So, Truth Seekers, jury's out on it. I'm probably just gonna say bust. I mean, I feel like they're trying. Like, it's coming out October 30th. And they're trying to do maybe a Halloween type thing with it, but it doesn't interest me enough from the trailers. I might give it a go. I mean, I already got Amazon and free shipping and all that, so why not? But
sweet shipping.
I still think it's a bust. Matt, what do you think?
I'm gonna bust this as well. It just didn't appeal to me necessarily. I like these guys. I will support whatever they do, like with goodwill. But I don't think this is for me. Corey.
Yeah, it's a bust for me too, Doug's. It's not Hot Fuzz 2. That's what I want. I want Hot Fuzz 2, and this is not what that is. So we recently canceled our Amazon Prime subscription. So if you want to watch something good on Amazon Prime, just watch The Boys.
Which season 2 wrapped up, which you can now stream the whole thing, guys. And it's awesome.
That's true.
Yeah. I have 2 episodes left.
I have yet to start, but now that it's all on there, I'm about to get going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you got rid of your subscription, so
yeah, well, it doesn't run out till like next year.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like about that is it's a yearly subscription. So like the whole year I don't have to worry about it. And then I remember when it does re-up and I'm like, why is this $100 taken out? Oh, for this. It's the whole year. So it feels better than a monthly bill from other stuff. Triple Bust on Truth Seekers coming out October 30th of this year. So get your Halloween on and watch this, I guess, if you
Lobster Fest, get your bib on.
Matt, do it up.
All right.
Okay. Everybody, here on the hype train, what you want, baby, we got it. What you need, we got it. Our next trailer is for the movie called Respect.
What you, baby, I got what you need. I got it. All I'm asking is for respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Take care, T-C-B.
So that was Respect. As you can well imagine, it's an Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson. This is just a teaser, taste of what's to come. It's got a star-studded cast. It's almost as though we live in the golden age of musical biopics, because we've had quite a few in the last several years. Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, now this. The studios are really investing in biopics about interesting musicians. Aretha Franklin obviously had an interesting life, and so there's a lot of material to go on here. I'm going to mispronounce her name, but the director, I have no idea how to pronounce her first name. Liesl Tani.
That's probably what I would have guessed too.
Yeah, she's worked in film before, but she's mostly known for theater, for musical theater, and she's an acclaimed director for that. So that kind of shows like what direction I think they're going for. Star-studded cast here. Obviously, we have Jennifer Hudson in the lead. The teaser doesn't show this, obviously, because the teaser is sort of like Aretha's the star of the show. She's the original diva, but we also have stars like Forrest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, my boy Titus Burgess. Mary J. Blige is going to be around, apparently. And of all people, Mark Maron is apparently in this movie.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, oh, if you like podcasts, you've probably heard of this guy.
Yeah.
If you like women wrestling, you've probably heard of this guy.
Since we're on the topic, also Tate Donovan from G-Men from Hell is in this. So, star of G-Men from Hell.
Bodies falling from heaven. Actually, we're from hell.
So yeah, it's just a teaser, but a taste of things to come. Corey, I know you're really excited to talk about it, so I'm going to kick it to you, Corey.
I love Aretha Franklin. So yeah, this when Sanford, when we all picked our thing and Sanford sent this, I was super hype. I wish, like Sanford said several times, it is just a teaser. I wish it would. I can't wait for the full trailer so I can see a little bit more about everything that's going to be going on in this film. Something I would love to see, but I severely doubt is going to be in this movie. Just based on what it looks like the time frame is, would be her doing her bit in Blues Brothers. I think that would be very fun to see.
You better think about what you're saying. You better think about the consequences of your actions.
Oh, shut up, woman.
You better think.
But like that never happens. Like I really wanted Bohemian Rhapsody to have Freddie Mercury and David Bowie interacting, and that never happened. Just because I assume then you have to also like find someone to play another iconic character. Whatever. So I don't have much to say, but I do have a few quick fun facts about Aretha Franklin. First of which being Aretha Franklin taught herself how to play piano by ear, which is very impressive. Fernandez can atone how difficult it is to teach yourself an instrument. Aretha Franklin had her first child at the age of 12, which is insane, and I'm sure will be brought up in the film. She went on tour with Dr. Martin Luther King. She had her sisters sing the backup for Respect, which is very cool. She was the first African-American female to be put on Time magazine in 1968. And she also performed the Star Spangled Banner in 2006 at the Super Bowl. So just a few quick rapid-fire fun facts about the legend herself. And now I'm going to kick it to Fernandez to wrap up the segment.
Cool. I'm really glad that you did that because I'm going to be completely honest here, and it was how I was going to start this anyways. I know nothing about Aretha Franklin's career, even, as a person and everything she's been through. I really knew nothing. I just knew she was because she was just that famous. And the things that you threw in there, Corey, I was listening intently because I was like, wow, just okay. I'm so down for this film now, because that's a lot of that stuff is just crazy, man. To your point of like what they're gonna show, because this is a teaser as we're all talking about. So like it would be cool to see her like on set filming like her parts in Blues Brothers or whatever, and then just maybe something within that year that happens to her. She'll just be on set and then a call. Like they could have done that in Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, he's working with David Bowie at a studio and gets a call to go somewhere else. They could have totally threw that in. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to do that because then you don't even have to have him really interacting with David Bowie. He could just be like in the studio with David Bowie, and you could have a blurry David Bowie in the background while he's on the phone or something,
Exactly.
So like that stuff could totally be done, and it would be really cool. Just a little shout out to those iconic moments that we know of these celebrities would be pretty cool. So star-studded cast, as you were talking about though, Matt. Marlon Wayans. I was like, hey, Marlon Wayans. We did our On the Rocks episode, and he's in that. He's coming.
I remember that.
Working his way back up, doing some more drama stuff, and it's cool. So yeah, I think if anything, because of my little knowledge of Aretha Franklin, and then what you just said, Corey, I mean, I am hyped for it. I was kind of hyped just because I like biopics. I like that we're in a time now where these biopics are just coming out. I enjoyed Rocket Man. Bohemian Rhapsody, I think I liked a little bit more, especially in the part where they're trying to push Bohemian Rhapsody to the label, and they're like, this song's way too long. There's no way. This is not the single for this record and stuff. And they pushed for it anyway. Even battling the label. I loved that scene just because I don't know. That was like probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Can we talk about that scene for a second? Because
battling the label, Mike Myers.
Because it's kind of ridiculous though, because Mike Myers, he does say that, but he also says things that are totally realistic. he's like, Bismillah? What even is that? And they're like, duh, it's the goddess of whatever. Look, durr.
Like, the doy.
And I'm like, okay.
He wasn't
All right,
wrong,
so
but he was wrong.
Go watch Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, he that's the idea, is that he was implying standard, knowledge at the time, but Queen is like new and it speaks to a different audience. And, and they know what's truly going on. That's the whole point of the scene. It's a good scene. It's just, I thought that some of the lines in there are kind of absurd if you take them out of the context.
But that's the whole
Mark
thing.
my words.
With biopics,
no one will ever bang their heads. Sorry, I'm tripping all over you, Fernandez.
It's okay. But with the new biopics and everything, I feel like they do try to do justice to more of like what actually happened, but adding, more dramatic effect to things. But I just like seeing that behind the scenes stuff of what actually happened when they, signed a record deal or did this or that. And the facts that you listed, Corey, just make me really want to watch this film. So excited. Hopefully we'll get a full trailer soon and put that up on another episode. But I guess it's time to move on to the Boomer Bust. Boomer Bust theme song. Anyone got it? Should I try it?
Boomer Bust. Baby, what is it? Boomer Bust. What are we doing? All I'm asking for is a boomer bust on this movie. I guess I'll go first. Boom. Should be a good movie. A lot of talented people behind it. And like an interesting subject matter. Sounds like Jennifer Hudson got basically Aretha Franklin's blessing to play her. So what more can you want?
Awesome.
Do it. Fernandez, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually forgot. I wrote that in my notes. I guess Aretha Franklin, before she passed away, did have a lot of, say in this film, or at least had involvement in it. And I read that she handpicked Jennifer Hudson to play her in the film. So it's pretty good. With that being said, boom, total boom, super hyped. Love me a good biopic. Yeah, boom. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, boom. This is great. I love Aretha Franklin. I love Jennifer Hudson. This is. I can't see this not being. I mean, it's not going to be like a comedy or anything, but I can't see this not being good. Like this, it just has all the right pieces to be a great biopic. And I also want to reference that when Aretha Franklin was in Blues Brothers 2000, she went, "Elwood, you ain't no good." So if we could get that scene and just slap it right there.
I also want to reference that the song "Let It Be" was written for Aretha Franklin, but she didn't understand it, so she wanted to.
Oh my God!
she thought there's this whole thing about how like she's like I don't really understand why the lyrics to this song are the way it is. So she thought it was somewhat blasphemous. She's like, "What are you talking about, Mother Mary appearing to you?" And she literally had her pastors like look over the lyrics to make sure they weren't sneaking blasphemy in for her. But she was like, "I don't know about this." So she waited too long, and then of course, the Beatles just released their own version of it instead. But I mean,
she did in the movie.
She did release a version of it. You can listen. I've heard the Aretha Franklin version of "Let It Be." It's different.
Ooh, interesting. All right, triple boom for Respect. Looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be released January 15th of next year, so keep a lookout for it.
Nice.
Moving on to our next trailer here.
Oh, my pick.
Corey, this is your pick.
It's your pick, yeah.
All right, guys. This heartfelt documentary explores the power of cult film told through the lens of the 1987 classic The Monster Squad and the impact it's had on fans, cast and crew, and the industry with Wolfman's Got Nards.
The first time I ever saw Monster Squad,
I was at a sleepover party with a friend of mine. It was on HBO.
Every time we go to the video store, that's what I'd rent.
I even had a bootleg DVD.
The word got out. Everything we had seen up till then had all been kid stuff, and this was the first taste of something dangerous.
These kids are real kids.
We were a part of the squad.
We went to school with them, and we are them.
This movie resonates.
They put up the ticket saying Monster Squad Reunion.
It sold out real fast.
Wait, you know this movie?
I never got the sense that this movie was finding a new audience or that its original audience were enjoying it again.
I did try to start my own Monster Squad.
We never actually performed any jobs.
You find lifelong friends because you have this one weird thing in common that nobody else knows about.
This is a zine I did. It's called I Had Rudy.
Wow.
What a really pleasant surprise that this seed that we planted grew into something.
It's like shooting a basket in 1987 and then it doesn't go in until 20 years later.
And that was Wolfman's Got Nards. Now, in the trailer, while we were talking amongst ourselves, like we do, Fernandez did note, and he will probably go into a little further detail when we kick to him, that this movie has been out for 2 years. Like it premiered at a film festival, right, Fernandez?
Not a film festival. I think they for the 20th. No, I don't know. Hold on.
Okay.
He
wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
I'm not ready at all. Like I have my feet up and I'm just listening, and I'm not looking at my computer screen at all. And then you just threw me a curveball. Hold on.
So I'll talk for a sec. Fun fact about this movie. But Andre Gower, who is the star, quote, of the Monster Squad, wrote and directed this film, which is pretty cool. I'm sure he had some hand in funding it as well. But I only recently watched the Monster Squad when I was looking for new trailers. This was in a compilation of 10 trailers. 5 of those trailers were stuff that was going to be on Quibi, and I abhor Quibi with every fiber of my being. That I was like, you know what? This trailer doesn't suck, and it's not for Quibi, so that's my pick for the week. And I picked it knowing I've for sure heard Fernandez talk about the Monster Squad before, and I think I'd heard Sanford say something about it, but I've never actually seen this film until recently. It was curious. I'm sure it would have had more of an impact on me had I seen it when I was younger, because as you saw in the trailer just now, a lot of people our age credit this to their lifelong love of horror, to the point that this was almost like their R.L. Stine, their stepping stone into a whole universe. What I noticed from looking at the credits, or the cast in quotes of this film, since it is a documentary, there are like a handful of famous people that they interviewed to talk about this. You know, we saw Seth Green in the trailer, Adam F. Goldberg, who is the creator of the Goldbergs. But yeah, just this clearly was a film that, while I found it odd and confusing, this was a film that had such an impact on a wide variety of people that I was actually really pleased with myself. I like patted myself on the back, and I was like, you know what, this was a good pick for my trailer, because I'm sure Fernandez and Sanford will have a lot to add to this, and maybe some nostalgia or personal feelings. So that's it for me. Fernandez might be ready now with his notes, so I'm gonna kick it to him.
Yeah, so I loved Monster Squad growing up. The version that you actually sent, Corey, of this trailer is like for a re-release of, I guess a release of this movie that was shopped at different film festivals in 2018. It had a trailer 2 years ago when it was first being released that way, and it is a little bit longer, maybe like 30 seconds longer, but it goes into why it was a commercial failure.
It was a crazy time. Everything happened very fast.
This is probably the biggest thing I'm ever gonna do.
I didn't know that this would be such a formative beginning.
When Dracula lifted her up,
He hissed at me.
I didn't have a lot of work to do because she was actually terrified.
On an opening night, we went to all the theaters that it was playing in.
I will not forget that.
It was a huge hit. And by it, I mean the Lost Boys.
Was that it was released the same week as the Lost Boys. So it got blown out of the water and forgotten. When I first saw this trailer, or you first sent it in our email before this show, Corey, I was super excited because I love the Monster Squad as a movie, but it's never something I like dove into and wanted to find out more about. It was just like one of those movies from my past that I will always love. I didn't know that there was a cult love for this film. The reason this was made was the 20th anniversary of the movie. They put it back in theaters for a bit, and it sold out at a lot of different theaters in different states that they released this in theaters or re-released. So there was a huge fan base still for this movie because they even got the actors Andre Gower and some of the other actors just for these premieres of re-releasing in theaters. And I think that's probably what got Andre Gower, the director of this and the star of the original of Monster Squad, to make a documentary about it. If you haven't seen the Monster Squad, it's like an awesome mix of Goonies mixed with, these classic horror film monsters. You got Dracula, you got Wolfman, you have Frankenstein's monster. But yeah, it hits all the notes of kind of Goonies, and you have like the cool guy that would be Josh Brolin's character from the Goonies. Andre Gower's character is Sean Astin from the Goonies. And then you have the supporting cast. You have the fat kid, who's hilarious.
They call him Fat Kid. Like, that's his name in the movie.
Hey, Fat Kid. Good job.
My name is Horace.
But 90% of the movie, everyone refers to him as Fat Kid. Like, that's why, like, when I was watching this, I was like, are they calling him Fat Kid? Like, I got to be hearing things. And Karen's like, no. Yeah. Everyone keeps calling him Fat Kid.
Yeah.
Well, in the Goonies, Chunk's name isn't Chunk, but they call him Chunk. Same thing.
There was almost, in 2008, a reboot or remake of this series. And it was going to be, Michael Bay was going to do it. And I'm really glad that it got canceled because I don't need to see crazy Michael Bay effects with this. Like this, I don't want Hollywood to redo this. This is fine the way it is. I know, Corey, you may be skeptical about it, but I mean, as a kid growing up, I loved the Goonies. I love movies like that. It's the reason I think Stranger Things is as popular as it is it has that kind of Goonies effect on kids. I mean, my niece loves it. She's 12, and she kind of can relate to it as the kids being the age group that they are. With this, I mean, I always thought that the special effects were decent. I mean, in the trailer, they talk about this film as this little monster film, but there's something to be said. I mean, really good practical makeup effects in this movie I thought were really good. The Wolfman, in my opinion, looks pretty good. Frankenstein's monster looks really good. I mean, it's hard because this went up against The Lost Boys, which is a very iconic movie for a ton of people. And so you could see why this would lose out in a battle against that at the box office. But this movie itself is like it to me, it has a certain sense of charm.
See you later, Band-Aid breath.
Matt, what do you think about Monster Squad?
There's really nothing. You guys have said so much about this. There's not much. I just really love the tone of this trailer. It seems like the tone of the whole documentary that it has sort of like this reverence for the joy of movies and what they can mean to people, even if they're somewhat silly. And I feel like that's sort of a connective thread in the podcast. That's sort of like the view we try to have too. I thought that was real nice. And so.
Oh, that's nice.
Kind of what you were saying, because I did want to bring this up. But so critically, this movie was also mixed. I mean, there were some good reviews from it, but, like I said, it went up against The Lost Boys. The New York Times called this movie a feature-length commercial for a joke store that sells not great rubber monster masks. And that's what I wanted to bring up about the practical special effects. I'm like, they were pretty good. I even thought, even for the time, for the 80s. I don't really understand where whoever did that is coming from the New York Times, which I feel like because a movie might have bombed in the box office financially, critics tend to jump on that train to call it bad. And now seeing, the cult status of this movie being as huge as it is, it brings me back to what I said in the last episode about giving things another chance. At the time, this movie probably got written off by a lot of people that saw it because everyone is guilty of it, even us. As technically, I guess we're critics now, but you compare things in your head when you're watching something to something else all the time. And you do it without even knowing it. And it sucks because sometimes your brain stops yourself from giving things a chance. So the people that don't like this movie because of, it's not the Lost Boys, it's what makes this movie so great. It's not the Lost Boys. So give it a second chance. Give everything a second chance. That's my opinion on it.
That made me think of something, Fernandez, and I think you and I have had this discussion before. A lot of the parts of this trailer are people who love the movie saying like, well, the kids in this movie were like real kids. Like these characters seemed like people I knew, like I related to them and everything. Mm-hmm. Whereas I couldn't relate to people in other media. It's like this cult thing because it connected with its audience, but it didn't get the appreciation. It didn't get much appreciation when it was released because, people, it seems like critics or people who seemed to think they knew what was good and what was bad and what would play and what wouldn't, were putting their spin on the Monster Squad, whereas it wasn't necessarily rooted in reality. And I guess the fact that the movie like found its sort of cult audience is another example of that.
It's so weird. If you're gonna trash any part of Monster Squad, I think it would be like the brittle CGI that they barely had up and running that they had to use. Like the vortex effects were the only problem I ever had special effects wise in that movie, when as someone who just watched like an HD, remaster, or not remaster, but like an upgrade to it. Mm-hmm. Because I thought all of the practical effects were right on par with what it seemed they were shooting for. Like the Wolfman effects were oddly similar to a point with An American Werewolf in London, which everyone always references as being the best werewolf film of all time.
I do love that.
So like, it's weird to complain about the effects, but then when the exact same effects are basically right in front of you, you're like, yeah, that's the best it's ever been. It's frustrating because while Monster Squad has flaws, I don't think the effects are any way part of it. You know?
Right. That's
like,
why
it's like
it made me mad that New York Times guy said that rubber monster mask, because a lot of work went into those special effects.
Yeah, like man. No way. That's unacceptable. Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Do you guys think I can get away with? Do you think I can get away with Warren Zevon's "Werewolves of London" as our intro song?
Here's an idea. Why don't we get away with a version of Warren Zevon's Werewolves of London for the boomer bust part for this segment right now? Fernandez, go do it.
Go.
Do it. Boomer bust on the hype train. Yeah. I don't know the rest of it.
That was everything I dreamed it would be.
All right, Corey, kick off the boomer bust.
All right, boom. I thought Monster Squad was fun, and that's someone who's watching it in present day as an outsider looking in. I thought it was fun, so I'm interested in watching Wolfman Scott Nards. I'd like to know more. I'd really like to know more backstory, and if they had anything like the soundtrack is 2 songs, and they were both written and performed by the same person. I'd love to see if they talk about that any in the documentary. So and I'd like to know what celebrities I thought about it too. So yeah, boom for me on this documentary. Sanford?
Boom. Yeah, this seems like a nice documentary. It's, I don't know, seems cool. Just sort of nice vibes. Like, hey, yeah, this movie meant a lot to people, and we want to explore that. How can that be bad? All right, Mike, boom or bust?
So it's an obvious boom for me, but I guess I want to clarify that it is a personal boom. I love the Monster Squad movie. Again, Corey, with the second documentary ever featured on the Hype Train. We talked about it before, but documentaries are a little tougher. I just feel like our boom and busts, and most boom and busts for documentaries we may feature, are going to be more personal because, I don't think many documentaries have a big boom effect on like the industry or the hype factor of documentaries and stuff. So really just if you're interested in this stuff, check it out. It's going to be released October 27th. Has an iTunes digital download, as it says, on Amazon. Blu-ray and DVD will be out there. So most likely it'll have some streaming options as well. So keep a lookout. All right. So we had a triple bust for True Seekers, triple boom for Respect, and a triple boom for Wolfman's Got Nards. Wow. So let's see who we're gonna give the golden ticket to, and then who knows who we're gonna throw off the train. I don't know.
I wonder.
I guess I'll just start off. My golden ticket is gonna go to Respect, because Monster Squad is personal. It's a personal thing to me. Respect looks like a huge, big deal, I think, to everyone, and I think more people are going to check that out, and I think it's going to have a bigger effect, and I hope it does really well. So, Matt, where's your golden ticket going to?
Oh, that ruins the tension because I'm doing the same thing. Golden ticket to Respect. Throw it off to Seekers.
Well, let Corey go. Come on. Didn't even give him a chance.
Well, here's the thing. No, here's the thing, though, because you and I are two people.
Well, I know, but I still like giving the third guy a voice.
Yeah. I'm not saying Corey doesn't get to talk. I'm saying that's my pick.
Oh, okay.
But Corey, do your thing.
I hate to shake it up, but I'm actually going to give my golden ticket to Respect. I love Aretha Franklin. I love Jennifer Hudson. I'm super psyched for that film. And throw. It feels bad to throw Nick Frost and Simon Pegg off the train, but it's just everything about that trailer just feels off. So until further time, maybe we'll pick him back up down the road. But yeah,
we'll throw off the train. We'll throw Jeff Bezos off the train.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that Truth Seekers trailer just felt meh. Somebody's got to get thrown off the train.
We're all in agreement.
It's their turn. So
all right, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So now we're on to the congratulations and celebrations section, right?
Yes, I know of two things that we've looked at. Yeah, congratulations to everyone who put all their hard work in Books of Blood and The War with Grandpa. As we all know, Christopher Walken is a genius. He's in The War with Grandpa. So congratulations to everyone who was involved. Check those things out. Give them some love.
It takes a
lot.
Couldn't be more opposite films to be congratulating at one time, though.
Yes.
Nothing I think stands out of being released, but I know that No Time to Die got pushed back again, as well as I think
everything
movies from their releases. So,
Dune, right? We talked about Dune getting pushed back.
Yeah, Dune.
Dune
got pushed back.
Friggin' King's Man is never coming out. I feel
that's
like.
Never coming out.
Like it's been so long, and that's just like if we ever see that. So I don't know.
Netflix canceled 27 shows.
It's getting crazy with these pushbacks.
Does anyone have any video game, movie, TV, book, music that they want to hype this week?
Plugs.
Plugs. Oh wait, I got a theme for that. It's time to plug your hole with our stuff. All right, guys. If who knows when this episode's going to air, but if it's before November 6th and you are a PlayStation Plus member, the 2 free games for this month are Need for Speed, Who Cares, and Vampire. And I can't express enough how much I'm enjoying Vampire. It's an action RPG set in 19 whatever in London when the Spanish flu is running rampant. It's like 1918-ish, I think. And you're a freshly turned vampire who's trying to figure out who turned him and why this pandemic is also crossbreeding with vampires of all different types. And, and werewolves are there and ghosts, I'm sure, will show up at some point. guys, it's so fun. The skill tree is so in depth, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of different playthroughs for me. And it's a very heavy on the whole. Every action you take has a consequence, so be careful. Like, it's already upset me numerous times that I picked the wrong thing and caused someone to either die or slip into something. No spoilers, but that's my plug. Vampire is free right now on PS4 until November 6th. If you're a PlayStation Plus member, please go pick it up to at least just try down the road. Sanford, you got a plug?
I've been listening to the album "Join Us" by They Might Be Giants. That's a good album.
Hey,
all
right.
Yeah, I'm about that.
Does that one doesn't have Dr. Worm on it though, does it?
They call me Dr. Worm.
No, see, the reason I hadn't listened. Yeah, good morning. How are you? I'm Dr. Worm. The reason I hadn't heard this one is it's one of their later albums. It's old now, but it's from like 2011. So, like after a lot of people, after their heyday. So
that's interesting.
It's not what you would think of when you think of They Might Be Giants, but I mean, they're still doing their thing. So it's good. It's a good album.
So
what do you want to plug?
Yeah, if we're moving on, I wasn't sure what to plug, and I was trying to think the last thing I really watched. So I would like to plug, and this is totally dating this, but I would like to plug Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. They forced a Game 6. They won yesterday as of date of this recording. So I'm hoping they win the whole thing. And there was a really great game. Jimmy Butler, he's finally getting the credit he deserves as a player. He's carrying the team right now. We'll see what happens in Game 6.
Is this a sports ball thing?
This is a sports thing. This is basketball. But by the time that this finally gets out, we will probably...
He's talking about the finals. Yeah.
NBA finals. But by the time this probably gets out, we'll probably already have a winner. And I'll look silly, but I'm backing the Heat on this one. Spoelstra's a really great coach.
Right.
And
I'll just look so dang silly.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, because obviously the Heat are by far the underdog at this point.
Totally.
The Lakers went up 3-1. But the funny thing is it's like, before Game 5, they were like, the Lakers are wearing they're like in remembrance of Kobe Bryant, like Black Mamba jerseys, and all these and all these people were like, do it for Mamba, like whatever. I'm like, well, now they're gonna lose, and so that's gonna be funny to me a little bit, because I'm rooting against the Lakers.
Yeah.
So they're gonna lose Game 5, and that'll be funny, and they did. So,
woo!
So everyone download Vampire if you have a PlayStation Plus account. Which I downloaded Need for Speed and didn't download Vampire, but because of your recommendation, Corey, I will download it. I mean, it's free, whatever. So
it is, yeah.
Play Vampire on PlayStation Plus. Listen to the 2011 album "Join Us" from They Might Be Giants, or just listen to some They Might Be Giants. They're great.
Yeah.
And then also, root for the Heat, and Jimmy Butler is fun. It's good stuff.
Invest in Jimmy Butler basketball cards, jerseys. Get him on your fantasy team, whatever. Jimmy Butler is the plug. Apparently.
Here's the thing to take from this. Sports are very real, and people like them. So, guys, just sports it up, sports style.
Matt, why don't you take us home?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and relinquish Jump Master to Corey.
Oh, yeah. Master of the jump right here.
I was like, oh, cool. Sanford's going to wrap this up, and we're all done. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for every like and every comment and every subscribe you give us. We appreciate you all more than you could ever possibly know. I'd like to take this moment to personally thank Fernandez. He's probably going to cut it out, but Fernandez puts a lot of time and effort into editing these episodes, and we wouldn't be here without him. So thanks, buddy. Hope you don't cut this out like the jag you are. Guys, the 98 Degrees reunion tour is still going. Please make sure you're washing your hands. Please make sure you're wearing a mask. And if you have to be in public, please make sure you're keeping your social distance aware. We don't no matter how strong you think you are, you never know who someone else could be in contact with, and it's not worth the risk. So, guys, from us here at the Hashtag Hype Train, I'm Corey.
I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you guys